So you made it. I think I'm the last presentation for today. It's a lot of information, so good job to you all, and thanks so much to Ziv and Emil and Blanca and everybody who organized. And so let's give everybody a round of applause. Thank you. And I really enjoyed that presentation by Akiyamart. Have you guys been on their site yet? Yeah. I moved to the States from Japan a while ago. I lived in Japan for about 10 years, and now that I'm back in the States, I really like to go on Akiyamart's website and like go through the map and see the little different properties all over the country and like imagine what it would be like to move there. And be like, what if I lived in Hokkaido? What if I lived in Okinawa? But if you're living abroad or you don't have residency in the US, how does that work exactly? And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. How can you move to Japan? So I'll give you a little story about how I moved to Japan. And when I first did it, it was pretty simple because I got a job and I had a work visa. And it was the perfect job for me. It was called a coordinator for international relations. Like, all right, this is going to be great. So these are bilingual public servants that work in Japanese communities to connect them with international organizations like sister cities or UNESCO. And I was really stoked about the job. And I had just finished my university training. I went and studied Japanese language at university, and then I got my MBA right afterward. So I felt like with my language and my business ability that I was qualified for the job, and I was excited to start bringing value to the community. When I arrived, I got the honor to participate in a traditional song and dance. And this was part of a cultural exchange we first did. And so I'd like to do that with you now, if you don't mind. Would you all please stand up? Knees and toes, head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose, head, shoulders, knees and toes, Ah, that was weak. Let's do it again. Really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. All right, good job. You can sit down. Thanks for humoring me, guys. So, the job was nothing like I had expected. There was no UNESCO, there was no sister cities. By all intents and purposes, I was what you call an assistant language teacher, or ALT, and a lot of people come to Japan the first time with this job. But that's not what I signed up for. I was going to be a coordinator for international relations. So now don't get me wrong. Some parts of the job were really fun. I got to be a human tape recorder in the morning. This is an apple. And in the afternoons, I got to be a human jungle gym like in this picture. But it wasn't as professionally satisfying as I would have hoped. But that is the problem with getting a job, especially in Japan. The duties that you're gonna be doing at a job where you're hired is gonna depend on your employer. What they say, you do. So now that I'm older and wiser, if I were to go back and do it all over again and move to Japan, I would want greater control over my professional responsibilities and greater control over my career. And so, as some of you are maybe thinking, I want to move to Japan and use a property to do so, think about the lifestyle that you want. And if you want control over what you're doing, plan on being your own boss. My name is Nick, and I am a relocation consultant for people who want to move to Japan. What that means is, to me, I help people understand their visa options and to make decisions to have a great lifestyle after they move to Japan. And what I'm going to be talking about today is a great visa option for many independent people like you, hello online, called the Business Manager Visa. And specifically, I'm going to go into detail on one of the requirements for the Business Manager Visa, which is office space. Now, what is the Business Manager Visa? The Business Manager Visa is a visa type that allows you to live in Japan and own a business. And the way it works is that the business that you own is what you use to sponsor your own visa so that you have the right to make money and work in Japan. And as we just talked about, it's a great vehicle for people who want to do different things because there's a lot broader things you could be doing with this type of visa than a work visa. You could open a bar. You could do something related to international relations. Or, as many of you are thinking about, you could have a short-term rental business. Another nice thing about this visa is that it is a long-term resident visa, which means that you're allowed to stay in Japan for a long period of time. Typically, when you first start out with this visa, you'll be granted a 1-year stay, but it's possible to get up to 5 years. Now, another thing that's different from a work visa that's really attractive is that on a work visa, you need to spend 10 years in Japan before you have access to permanent residency. But if you get a 5-year period on your business manager visa, then that will allow you to get access to permanent residency if you want to be here full time. Now, there's some problems with the business manager visa. It's very difficult to get, and that's fair to the Japanese government. They don't want just anyone coming and saying, "Oh, I have a business, visa please." They want to make sure that people with legitimate business interests are the ones that are coming to Japan. So the first thing that they are going to be checking for is if you have skin in the game or not. And there are 2 ways that you can satisfy this requirement. The first is putting some money in your company, and the minimum amount they ask for is 5 million yen. The second way to do it is to get 2 local Japanese employees. They don't have to be Japanese nationals, but they do have to be residents. And they can't be part-timers or contractors. They have to be employed under your company, and really, ballpark, you should target their salary for about 3 million yen each. So it depends on how much help you need, but the lowest barrier to entry of those 2 is going to be the money in your Japanese business bank account. The second key requirement they're going to look at is whether or not your business can make money. They want your business in Japan to grow the economy, and if it doesn't make money, then they don't really want to give you a visa. If you've already got a company that you've maybe doing some remote work and have some contracts, it may be possible to leverage some of that experience that you've already had. But if you're starting out brand new, like I know some people are interested in becoming first-time business owners in Japan with this real estate opportunity, it helps to at least get